Living for a living, baby. How you doing?
And I guess we can get on into it, huh? Right? What a time to be alive, huh? Just such a weird time right now, you know? This is a weird one for me. I haven't had a conversation. Normally, you know, I talk on the phone with somebody like once a day, or I go out and see somebody, but with no bars and restaurants being open, I don't go out and have that little conversation. And the last couple of days I haven't talked on the phone, so actually speaking out loud like this much almost feels weird because I haven't done it in a couple of days. So thanks for listening. Welcome. How are you doing? Like I said, what a time to be alive. We are in like what's that place called? Purgatory? With the election. And, man, who knows? It ain't over yet, though. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. And Adele's been losing some weight, so I don't know who the fat lady's gonna be. Don't count old Donnie out just yet, but you know, overall, regarding the election, I'm not surprised at all with the chaos that's ensued so far. I'd like to say, you know, I'm happy for the Democrats and, you know, friends that I have that have, you know, allowed the Trump derangement syndrome to kind of overtake their life. And I'm happy that a large percentage of the country now has a little bit more hope, you know, can feel a little bit better about things. You know, just like I'm glad that there's a morale that was very low for a lot of people, whether it's right or wrong, it was. And now it's raised up just a little bit, and I'm happy for that because I think as a whole, as a country, we probably needed it. I think, like I went over last week, in terms of Civil War ideas and possibilities, I didn't see it happening at all with a Biden win, so that's good on that front. And I think going back and forth from one side to the other is a good thing and probably keeps us in balance. And, you know, although Kamala and Biden are not a very like extreme tip of the balance in terms of policies and stuff like that. Like Bernie would have been an extreme tip. And even in terms of like social, like Biden's old and says some dumb shit. Kamala's like an ex-cop that's like locked people up, and same with Biden. And so like Trump was so bad for Democrats that the Democrats ultimately ended up voting in Republicans. The Republicans really won this last election because Biden and Harris have like a lot of similarities like with other Republicans. Yeah, I'm sure they differ on abortion and some other things like that, but like Biden and Harris are not going to be any extreme progressives like they get touted as. But no, man, like I said, I'm happy for all those people. I'm excited that we can move forward. You know, I'm looking forward to there being less just kind of complaining and less blaming of everything on Trump, even though that'll continue for a little while. But, you know, I hope that we can get past this phase that we went through and kind of get into a little bit more accountability and, you know, and holding for ourselves and for the people that we elected. You know, the craziest thing about this election to me also was that, you know, everyone said before, the two choices are the worst two choices in the history. How do we come to these two choices? It's unbelievable. Yet we had the most voter turnout in the history of the country. So the two worst candidates ever get the most votes ever. And so if that isn't a telltale sign of where we are political wise, about voting not for my guy but against the other guy, I think that's a perfect statistic for it. That's crazy. And I just like the hypocrisy, the liberal, the Democrat, everyone's hypocritical right now. I've said it before, but right now getting to see the Democrats, there's already the hypocrites, of everyone's coming out, Pelosi, everybody that, we need to start coming together now, and we've won in this and that, and now we need to come together. And it's like, well, why couldn't we have ever just like tried to ever come together the last 4 years? Like that was never preached. And then like all of a sudden all these rallies, or it's not rallies now, I guess celebrations, limited masks. I mean, like I said, it's just hypocritical. Trump rallies are spreading disease and spreading coronavirus like none other, yet Black Lives Matter movements and Democratic Biden celebrations actually limit corona spreading. So, some of these things are already kind of out there and funny. And I think that's going to continue. I feel bad for the media in a way because, before Trump got into office, like news media was on the decline. And because they had to compete with everything else on the internet that's for free, and if you think about like, if a company, a CNN company hires one social media marketing or specialist kind of person, that's one person getting paid like at least $50,000 a year, and they can produce, a limit per week, per day, per whatever. Facebook, YouTube, unlimited cat and dog videos, unlimited fail compilations. And so the news was fighting with that. And now with Donnie in there, it gave them something to talk about every day. And now they won't have that. I mean, he's still gonna, I don't know what Don's gonna do. That's what I'm real curious to see what happens if he loses. If it truly comes out as an L. Because that'll be a good one to see. What's old Donnie gonna do next? What's his next step? But like I said, is the news now. They've had a pretty fun cycle for the last 4 years of, all right, what's Orange Man doing today? What's he talked about? What's he tweeted? What can we talk about? What can we overinflate and hypersensitize? And they're not going to have that Biden's going to give them some funny clips, but I don't know exactly at what like level. It'd be fun. Hopefully, like we can just maybe like take things less serious, like, I don't know. At this point, like taking things less serious would be really nice, I think. We're so caught up in political correctness and we can't use that word and we got to do this pronoun and this and that like, man, like let's reel it back a little bit. Let's man, I hope that'd be cool. So maybe like, Biden will just start talking gibberish and like late night shows will come out with like a new Bidenisms or the speaking Bidenese, some kind of thing. I don't know, something, because we've gotten way too serious. The late night comics now cry fucking every night talking about something with Trump or something with politics, where those guys, Jon Stewart, Colbert, like they cry damn near every other night. Like they're supposed to be comedians, you know what I mean? So we'll see. We will see. I guess there's already a corona vaccine out, or with super great test results already. The timing of that's been interesting. It'll be, Biden can't get into the White House until January. And so corona is going to still be an issue until January, I believe. Although people are going to football games. Notre Dame's rushing the field. We're going to talk about that later. So we still got a little bit more madness right now, but Biden's already said, his first thing on the agenda is a national mask mandate. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, though, it ain't over yet now. It ain't over till it's a 000 now. And, I mean, it would be the most 2020 thing ever if Trump ended up winning by appeals and recounts and whatever. Like, tell me I'm wrong. Yes or yes, as Tim Dillon would say. If it went through the ringer and they found some fraudulent stuff, which, by the way, it's hilarious that last election, the Democrats all said that Russia had to collude to help rig the election and blah, 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 even though that has been proven to be completely false. But then with this one, they're like, no, there's no way it could be rigged because we won. But like I said, man, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. The Mexican president or prime minister, I think president, has already said, I'm not counting it just yet. And I'd say a Mexican president knows a little some about corruption. Wouldn't you say so, Paco? And so if he's saying that, I'm still kind of keeping it on the back burner. Which, let's have a recount, let's take some time. If you don't remember, I had to look this up, but in 2000 with Bush and Gore, that one didn't get solved until 45 days after the election. So that's still some time. That is around the January, 45 days, November. Yeah, that's mid-December. So, I talked about it last week where I think states have till December 8th to have their official thing in, or December 12th, something like that. So, I don't know. I'd be, like I said, it'd be the most 2020 thing ever. The internet would die. The internet would explode. There would definitely be some kind of, like I've said, I don't think a civil war is really going to happen. There's going to be some fighting, maybe some civil unrest. But as a whole, I don't think civil war is ever going to happen. I don't know how it would even go. Like I said, the first civil war was, there's always two sides. And in the beginning, it was north-south. In other parts, I know I'm not some history scholar or anything, but what Hotel Rwanda had a genocide civil war. I guess Germany had genocide, that's essentially civil war in a way. And those were all over I don't know how a civil war would really go down if it was by political party in 2020 where a majority of places are around 50-50. I know you go into the cities, it's much more blue. You go out into rural, it's much more red. But the mixed, you guys see the results, it's close to 50-50 in a lot of places. And so I don't know how there would be just two, it wouldn't make sense. And plus I don't know where the Army would play in to all of this. The Army has a lot of Republicans in it. And so that would factor into it. And so, it's kind of a fun, not fun. It's an entertaining idea to talk about, I guess. An interesting and intriguing idea. But I just don't think it would ever happen. But boy, if old Donnie wins on an appeal or a recount, some shit will go down. And I don't know. Some shit will go down. I don't know, in the deep state Illuminati ideas and stuff. I don't know if the totalitarianism 1984 Orwellian future that I feel that the New World Order is working towards. I don't know if it happens faster with like Trump winning and then there being civil unrest, and so then they need government to step in to stop the civil unrest, or if you go with Biden and just slowly try and almost like become socialist, like extreme socialist, that I'm probably going to make a lot of people mad here, but to a degree, like extreme socialism is kind of like totalitarianism rule. Like it's like a circle, like a flywheel, like you get to one side of the extreme and it almost like flips you back to the other side. Where with Biden, and what I mean is like putting everything in the government's control from a socialist standpoint. Once everything becomes controlled by the government, then they're kind of the same thing. It's just whether it's looked at in a positive or a negative manner. And maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but that's just kind of how I see that, totalitarianism or authoritarianism and communism, socialism are all kind of different, but all kind of the same thing. And so I don't know what would come faster. I think obviously if Trump won by recount and they had some civil unrest, and then they got to send in people for like the military into cities. But I don't know. All I'm going to say is we will see. And I wouldn't be surprised no matter what happens. I'm not going to be surprised. But I think now COVID's slowly becoming over. The 3, 4, 5 days that the election was all kind of up in the air, you hardly heard anything about COVID. Actually, CDC was coming out with exceptions for the rules where Corona, like, it's okay to leave the house and not social distance to go vote. Like, just think about all the drama that was made up over voting and can we go out and this and that and it's too dangerous to vote and blah, 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 blah. And then by the end of it, CDC's literally saying like, oh, no, it's okay to go vote. New CDC updates. People who are in quarantine are sick. Oh, yeah, this isn't even just social distancing. This is people who are actually sick. People who are in quarantine or sick with COVID-19 are allowed to vote in person for the U.S. elections on Tuesday, according to the Centers for Disease Control. Voters have the right to vote regardless of whether they are sick or in quarantine, the CDC's recently updated guidelines say. But you should let poll workers know that you are sick or in quarantine, the agency says. Voters should always wear a mask and stay 6 feet apart from others, wash their hands before and after voting. So, the most dangerous thing in the world for the last 6 months now is it's okay if you're sick and go vote. Okay? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, like what? And people just like eat it up. Like I said, the new norm has just been like accepting. I mean, think about how fast people have accepted the masks and this just like way of life and things being shut down. I mean, it's been 6 months. And, relatively speaking here, I don't know what the States is like. I haven't been other places, but here now, I mean, like, when people are told to wear the mask, like, they're wearing the mask. And there's, I can't read media and stuff here, but it doesn't feel like there's a ton of pushback. Maybe there is. I feel like a lot of people here think it's stupid. Almost everyone I talk to thinks it's stupid. almost everyone says like, yeah, I wear the mask because of like the respect for others and the I don't want to give it to somebody else and blah blah blah. And even though that's like, yeah, I've said all these things before, but the one thing I was talking about, like with the election, let's do a recount. Let's take our time. We got time. We ain't doing anything anyways. I mean, like, and I'm not saying that because like, oh, I want Trump to win but I just want it to not be any question. Like, let's not have our voting system have any second thought from either side that it can be rigged. And so let's put it all out on the table from both sides. That's where some of those weird little like questionable things come in where like, I guess I heard, in some places the Republican voter observer like wasn't there and they're like boarding up windows and, like doing some sketchy things. And like the Democrats are trying to fight the appeal that Trump's making and stuff. And so it's just kind of like, for the sake of democracy, let's recount it. Let's get it right. So that way people can say one way or the other, it was a fair fight. I mean, I think we can all agree that's a good thing to have. And like I said, we got time. Not like anybody's doing anything, going anywhere, But shit, dude. Shit. We got the and let's I mean, I feel like a crazy person right now. I mean, slightly isolated for a while. There's reasons for it, but I just mean from the standpoint of like, you see things like the Notre Dame rushing the field, beating Clemson, number 1 versus number 5 or whatever it was. And I mean, the full field rush, like they did it legit. And people are, oh, what about social distancing and this and that? And it's like, mother, like this Corona stuff has just given us like another like little thing to complain about. I guess I've been saying it for a while now, but it's just true. And something to give people a little barb, a little stick to poke. Because I'm all for Notre Dame rushing the field. I think you should. Like I said, let's get this shit back to normal. And then if you're in that group that needs to worry, whether it be age or immunity disorder or pre-existing conditions, then let's be careful with you. And let's have your family be careful. And let's everyone have a step up of awareness. But just awareness. We don't need to shut shit down. And I mean, I know I talk about it every week, but I look at the numbers probably like once a week or so. And Sweden, man, a lot of deaths in the beginning of the outbreak. Not many deaths recently. Not many deaths the last month in Sweden when everyone else death tolls rising. So, like, I don't think this thing's ever going away. Like I said, it's here to stay. And so why are we pretending like it's not? But between those two things now, man, that's all there really is, huh? Can't do much traveling. Can talk about a little NFL football. That's all there is. It's crazy. We did, though. I am excited to say that we got another call. And so I think let's get into that, huh? Yeah, let's get into that. From my hometown in Issaquah, my man, Mr. Alex Pearl, who's been a supporter of the show, I don't know from day one, but a good, in my mind, a day one supporter. And he sent in a video, so let's see what we got here.
Hey, Living for a Living podcast.
Oh, what's up, my guy? We got another outdoor trekking, walking video.
I gotta say, Joey, I've been enjoying your stuff. I loved watching you play football, and now I'm watching you do your vlogs, do your podcasts. I saw that you,
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate the support for a lot of years now, huh?
wanted some more callers, so here I am, man. Digging the hairdos.
Thank you, bro. And thank you for the call.
Yeah, got the Native American style going. It's awesome.
Viking.
I just got a little mullet. I can't grow out long hair.
The mullet's swaggy, though, bro. You can do the little Theo Von action. I don't know if you follow Theo. I talk about Theo all the time. I feel like you'd like Theo Von, Alex.
I've tried, okay? I always end up cutting it. I don't know. Maybe there's an awkward stage I just won't get past. Anyways, man, you're way more well-traveled than me, so I gotta know, what is it about American culture that has got you away? I mean, I know you're playing football abroad, but what don't you like about American culture, and what do you like? And also, what's up with Portugal, man? Why Portugal?
My man, I appreciate that, bro. I really, really, really appreciate that. That's a good call right there. I put a smile on my face, my guy, Alex. Good questions too, man. I mean, I guess this kind of follows suit a little bit with this episode. To answer the first one about what I don't like about American culture, or traveling around, living. Honestly, I don't know if I'll ever live permanently in the U.S. ever again, which is partially due to how it is there, and then partially due to the fact that I really like some of the Euro lifestyles that I've been living, especially Portugal, and I'll get there. But I'd say, with the American culture stuff, like, it's just more. I'm very proud of being American, and I'm very grateful that I'm an American. I just also think I can recognize the flaws, and so like I feel that the U.S. is just incredibly materialistic, generally speaking. Like when I'm talking about Euro versus American culture, they obviously differ within the country, but I'm just generally using a broad brush to paint. But the U.S. is just much more into like the checklist lifestyle, I call it. Go to a good college, get a good job, buy a nice car, get a girl, married, house, kids. The checklist. And Europe still has that. And especially dependent on where you're at, like that's definitely still a thing. But it's just not so like exaggerated from my perspective. Like you asked, and people are probably aware, like Portugal has a really special place in my heart. I'm kind of constantly talking about Portugal and that I'll get back there, and eventually I see myself living there full time when I do eventually settle down. I speak pretty decent Portuguese at this point. And for whatever reason, man, I just vibe with the Portuguese culture. I think along the lines of how explaining the American culture is like caught up in the checklist and like what's next, always what's next. And that can leave you to not enjoying the moment in itself. And I found in Portugal with all my friends out there, there was just a lot more emphasis put on enjoying the moment. But that's also due to a negative aspect because the average salaries there, or just salaries in general, are just so low that not very many people save. And like the idea of saving like a lot all the time isn't like on everyone's mind. So like people just spend their money a little bit more loosely, relatively speaking, to enjoy the moment, because it's not like they can save a bunch for later, because what's the point? Might as well just enjoy it right now. And so like I got along with that really well. Shit, man, there's not a lot to dislike about Portugal. They got the weather, especially like Lisbon down south is like 360 days or 300 days of sunshine a year. Good weather, doesn't really get cold. People are cool, dope cities, good nature, beaches, good food. It's cheap, it's affordable. Like I said, there's not a lot to not like. The Portuguese people all speak pretty good English, like comparatively speaking with the rest of Europe, like they might be one of the best. I don't know exactly. Maybe like Nordic countries might be better, but like I said, they got girls. There's a lot of fish over in Portugal, bro. So it's just been, Portugal really kind of like saved me in a way also, to be honest with you, bro. Because when I moved there after graduating college in 2015, I've talked about it a little bit. Like I just wasn't in a great place after graduating, kind of working a real job, being in a failing relationship, blah, blah, blah. Like I was in a bad spot mentally and kind of left on a whim. And Portugal, just like between the guys on the team, the city, the other people I met there, it's what I needed. I was like going through a dark tunnel, and it was that light at the end of the tunnel, figuratively speaking, Yeah, man, that's I guess my last thing. I'm answering this question, a long one. I highly recommend anyone who's traveling, go to Lisbon. Lisbon's the best, because I don't know what it is, but a lot of the people that I talk to that have moved to Lisbon that are outsiders or foreigners themselves all feel the same way that I feel about Lisbon. Everyone kind of had some weird reason for going there rather than somewhere else. And like, that's kind of why I know it's so special, is because it's not like I'm the only one who feels this way about this place. Like, I have a bunch of friends, whether they're Nepalese, Italian, American, whatever, who all had some weird little path to get to Lisbon. And they all look at it like that was the weird mistake that needed to happen. And so, man, I don't know. I'd say check it out for yourself sometime. That'd be if I had to do a travel guide or anything like that. And eventually I kind of want to write like a traveler's guide kind of book to Lisbon and to some of the cities that I've lived in longer and gotten to explore and know. But Lisbon would be the first one I'd go. Anybody who ever hits me up is like, hey, I'm coming to Europe. Like, where should I go? What should I check out? Lisbon's always the first one I say, because it's underrated. It's affordable, and it's the best. So, yeah, bro, those are the reasons for that. Like I said, bro, I really, really appreciate the phone call, the video call, and the support through everything, man. You've been a guy who always gives me some feedback throughout the episodes, and always giving some encouragement. And I got to get on your level one of these days with those barefoot dunking or sandal dunking. Crazy motherfucker, man. Guy's been practicing his vertical jump so he can dunk a basketball in sandals. And he can. kind of a strange flex, but I dig it, bro. I dig it a lot. So yeah, man, thanks again. Appreciate you, bro. Much love. Doing the calls is cool. It's like doing the calls are really cool. I wish I got more, honestly. So if you're out there listening in, man, I gotta, like I've said, something's on your mind. You got a question, a comment, a concern, just need to vent, get something off your chest. Don't bottle it up. Call into the Random Guys podcast and throw it on the air. I got you. It's a team effort. Oh man. And I think, I don't know, man, this might be the last podcast in the apartment. It's starting to get late early, as Yogi Berra would say. It's like only 5 o'clock, only 4:50 right now. It's completely dark out. I don't know what my next move is. Like I've been saying, I thought Portugal was it for a couple months. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Just got to go with the flow. Got a few offers going for 2021. It's crazy how fast things go, you know. Season gets canceled from one thing. I'm waiting around. Nothing happens for a couple weeks. Then you get like 3 messages, 3 calls. Then you wait around for a month. Okay, and then we leave in a week. Same thing here. Season canceled. Nothing for a little while. Something, a call here, call there, message here, message there. And then next season. I mean, it's already November 10th right now. I'd be going places in like January, February-ish. So it's like a month and a half. It's crazy. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated maybe by next week. There's a possibility I could have a decision by next week. And so it's kind of crazy too, because all of the salaries, I'm not going to get into contract stuff too much, but all of the salary numbers for each place, and it's in 3 different countries, salaries are all the same number. And so like all my offers are pretty much the same, just in 3 different countries, 3 slightly different situations. So I got to do a pros cons chart, do a Venn diagram, come to a conclusion. Although I'm leaning one way right now. That's for sure. So we'll see. We will see. All right, I had to do a little bathroom break. Sorry about there, but I'm not sure exactly where I left off. I need to start getting some sponsored ads so I can just start throwing those in the middle. And then, I mean, shit, the ones I've been listening to lately on Theo Vaughn and them, like, they throw it in the middle of a conversation, and the ads are so goddamn long that by the time they finish, you don't even remember who they're talking to. It's like, so I don't exactly know where I was at before I went into the bathroom, but something I was thinking about while I was sitting in there passing the time was like, you know, I forget who I was talking to, but just like the concept of, you know, New World Order and, you know, the Illuminati and the elites and the deep state, whatever you want to call it, the conspiracy, you know, I like getting a little conspiracy with it, you know, a little alternative every now and then. I won't lie, I like it. But like, I forget who I was talking to, and they're like, you know, what's the motivation of that? And it's like, you know, I can't imagine this because I don't have a ton of money myself, but I can't fathom like having essentially an unlimited amount of money. You know what I mean? Like literally unlimited amount. You could rent a jet, fly to Rome for dinner, and then fly. You know, like unlimited amount. You know, Bill Gates, Bezos, those guys with billions. Like you could spend an absurd amount. Well, what was the thing? Is like 1,000,000 seconds is 12 days. No, 1,000,000 seconds is 12 minutes. 1,000,000,000 seconds is 30 days. No, 30 years. Hold on, I gotta get this right. All right, here's the good analogy to put millions, billions, trillions into perspective. Is 1,000,000 seconds is 12 days, but 1,000,000,000 seconds is 30 years. And then 1,000,000,000,000 seconds is like 300 years or something like that. And so like these guys that have billions of dollars, what I'm getting at is like they could literally spend money is irrelevant. And so the point of this whole thing that I'm taking 5 minutes to get to is once money becomes not an object, because you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Then what do you start to do? You know, because we all have goals in mind that we're working towards, you know, and a lot of us, they have something to do with finances or monetary values. You know, I want to get this car. I want to live in this house. I want to go to this place. I want to, you know, everything that we want to do, even if it's not a material thing that we want, costs some money. You know, like for me with traveling, you know, I'd like to get a van. I'd like, you know, like the things I'd like to do, it's not like I have some big materialistic desires, but my goals require some money. And I think everyone's does for the most part. You know, happiness is the goal, but sometimes it requires, well, that's actually kind of deep right there, is it shouldn't require anything. That's the trick. If happiness is the goal, you should be able to be happy no matter what. But obviously, we want to put ourselves in situations that have higher happy probabilities. So for me, that'd be like a van or being able to travel. And, you know, I'd like to buy some land in Portugal at some point, or maybe a spot in Thailand or like Nepal. And also have a van and kind of travel between my spots. That's kind of where I see myself. Also, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I think I'd also want to start like an international football team based out of Lisbon. Yeah, that's what I would do. I'm going to just start putting that stuff into the universe, because why not, you know? But anyway, getting off track here. My point is we all have goals. We all have things we want to do. A lot of the times they revolve around getting to a certain amount of money to be able to achieve this goal. So if you're super fucking rich and money doesn't matter, what do your goals then become? And, you know, I think with like a Bezos, with a Bill Gates, with these people, you know, like, why does Bill Gates care so much about helping people and being a humanitarian? You know, like it's kind of weird to me in a way, you know, and I know that's going to sound, I don't know, oh, you can't do anything, you can't help, you can't do this, you know, but like just think about it. If money didn't matter, and then you were like, okay, well, what am I here? What am I still playing for? You know, you're a Bill Gates kind of guy. And I'm just using Bill Gates as the example right now. I think he has something to do with this type of stuff. But I've created this uber successful company in Microsoft. Money is irrelevant. I can do this, I can travel, I'm not into cars, and he wears a sweater vest, and you know, I'm going to start to manipulate the human species. how can I be remembered? How can I affect society? You know, like that's where these things evolve to. And then you get someone in this weird little position of power with a lot of money, and that goes along with this money is an ego. You know, it goes along with this success, this financial wealth success is an ego. You know, even if Bill Gates and Bezos appear to be subtle and humble on the surface because they drive a Honda and they, you know, live modestly and all of these things like Buffett, and like deep down these guys have an ego. And I'm sure it's bigger than we think because they have to believe in their minds to a certain degree that I'm smarter than everyone else on the fucking planet. Nobody's like me. You know, and that's true. We all are, like, we should all feel that way. But if they feel that kind of thing of like, I'm better, I'm something more. And again, and I'm not saying that everybody's like this, but I'm saying this is where the idea of how, like, the New World Order, the Rockefellers, like, I'm trying to get in the minds of these people. And, you know, what's the next step? Let's modify and change history and control everything. And, you know, literally it'd be like playing Sims, kind of. You know, like that's where it's at. Or like video game, they can buy whatever video game they want. They could play that all day. But like to a certain point, they're almost like they can buy real life and make it a video game for them. You know, these rich elite, man, they're playing Call of Duty from afar. They're playing like Age of Empires, basically. Going attacking there, setting up shop there, farming there, building a dock there, a barracks there. You know, so I think that's not something too important to think about, but just when talking about that kind of elite conversation and like, what's the motivation? Why would they even want to do that and this and da da da? And I mean, this world's a strange place, man. And we don't know much about it. We don't know much about ourselves. We don't know much about our human brains. We don't know much about the oceans, the jungles, we don't know much. And so, who really knows? Who really knows? I didn't plan on getting into that one. But that's, you know, I think, what do you think? Huh? What do you think about some of this stuff I'm talking about right here? If you try and put yourself in the elite shoes, put on that cap, does it make sense? You know, like what I'm kind of like putting out, laying out, like, does that make sense to you? Because it makes sense to me. You know, like I'm just trying to think, you know, like right now in football. This last year had a really good year here in Czech Republic offensively as a quarterback and as a coach. Like, I'm kind of feeling myself a little bit from a quarterback, offensive coordinator perspective because of this past success. And so I'm just trying to like equate some of the feelings that I've had from some of my professional things that I've done. And like, I know those feelings that it gives me and mine are on a relatively minor scale. And so you put that into like billion, trillion dollar type of things and magnify it, multiply it. And yeah. So that was a good little ramble, huh? Oh. But no. I think, man, 2021 is going to be an interesting one itself. We only got another month and a half or so of 2020. So maybe we're going to have a good fourth quarter. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they save the best for last quarter. Your boy Donnie T coming back and winning with a game buzzer beater. He just might do it, man. He just might. Oh, I got to admit, I kind of want it to happen. Just from an entertainment standpoint. Like, I think we can all agree that the president really doesn't matter. I know we can't all agree to that, but. And so just to see the internet go into a dumpster fire for a while would be awesome. But we'll see. I don't know. Dude, the one thing, this is so random, but the one thing I've been just randomly seeing some YouTube videos and saw some stuff of like, I didn't realize how big of a deal Pokemon has become. And Pokemon cards primarily. You know, I knew Gary Vee was doing the sports card stuff, and I got some stuff back home, some cards back home that I know are worth some good money now. And I got the Pokemon cards for sure. Like, I got the first original 150. I was watching some of these videos today. They're opening up the old packs. There is some money. And I mean money in Pokemon cards. And I think my little original pack back home's worth at least $1,000, a couple thousand, if I sold them individually. It's like, damn, why didn't I keep doing that? Oh, well. I just wanted to bring that up. Pokemon. I love Pokemon, but I only know the originals. When my nephews were a little bit younger, they were super into Pokemon. And like I said, I know the original 150 like in the back of my hand. And you know, every like 5 years or so, I'll like download a ROM player for Game Boy ROM for the computer and play Pokemon Yellow or Blue or Red or the old school one. I thought I was going to do it this lockdown, but I actually didn't. I just stuck to 0 AD. But I don't know any of the ones after 150, or at least not many. And so my nephews would always ask me, "Oh, what do you know about this one? Zanzibar." I don't know if that's sorry guys, I don't know that one. Back in my day, there was only 150. And then one time my nephew was like, "Hey, Uncle Joey, back in your day, did the Pokemon do this?" It's like, back in my day. It feels good to say. But yeah, there's some YouTubers, man, there's some packaged box of cards that sell for $75,000. Shit is insane. If only I could have had the presence of mind. Like, I had the presence of mind that I knew like cards would be valuable, but like the presence of mind to realize that the unopened booster packs of cards would be incredibly valuable. And the crazy thing is like and I don't know if they're worth anything, but there's a lot of like Vietnamese stores here in Czech Republic and Portugal, other places. There's a lot of like Chinese stores, which people just call them the Chinese Vietnamese stores, and they're basically just like stores that have everything from clothes to stuff for kitchen to literally everything. And they had a ton of Pokemon cards last time I was there, like wrapped, packaged ones. And I'm just like, I wonder to myself, like, oh, maybe I could have hit the gold mine there. But all the stores are closed, so I can't find out. But, alrighty. Let's call it a night. Let's call it a day. Let's call it an episode, huh? Mr. Biden. Oh, damn, I forgot to turn the refrigerator off, so sorry for that background noise this whole episode. That's my bad. I didn't turn the fridge off, so that means I don't have to turn it back on, which is good. but that might have been a little bit annoying for you, so I apologize. Regardless, thank you for joining me. And until next time, peace and much love. You're appreciated. I'm grateful for you, and I love you. Holla.
Living for a living, baby. How you doing?